Okay, so I would have thought perhaps to get young people to move to the place, people that are looking for success and so forth, that maybe given what they call it now, like cyberspace basically. A lot of people now are working from home. A lot of people are doing jobs via email, via internet, software companies, all that sort of stuff. I think, as a matter of fact, the Gold Coast is the biggest employer of that sort of people, because they can live in an environment that is truly nice without having to hop on the 7 o'clock train from Bondi to Wentworth or somewhere.
Yeah.
So maybe that could be a good idea to entice people to come to Crescent Head. A plan to look into how we can entice people here that are going to have money, that don't need to be in a city or whatever, and enjoy the lifestyle, but they've got money.
Yeah.
So
it's a good point.
Just a suggestion. Now, with the planning, getting back to the master plan, there's a bit of a contradiction, because in the planning investigations, you see the zones, and you've got a line. I'm talking about this end of town. You've got a line that goes down the road that goes to the camping area, right?
Yeah.
And the planning zone is on one side, and on the other side that line. However, when you get to the when you actually get to the master plan, it shows the line digressing, taking into account the club, the bowling green, and the tennis courts.
Yeah.
So, is this a case of look at this hand while I'm doing that with that hand? Because that's a pretty serious, not necessarily a point for me, but pretty serious for the community. You know, the club is one of the biggest things here. And it seems to me that a line's moved across, taking the club grounds and everything else. So does that mean that the holiday park in the back is going to cross the road, so as to speak?
Well, I inquired about that. It was a good question, Paul. Before the club bought their land and they owned the first green outright, the zoning, that was zoned as council land. So, not to put a point on it, that comes back to them not changing it as it should have changed. The land past the first green, as you know, it still belongs to the council. So that the Crown, yeah. So that's.
But it's managed by the council.
Yeah. So it's
by council.
yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying
It was
is that
it was
land going to be used by the holiday park?
no. What the master plan? The message from the council is this: that master plan is a stimulus package. They want more feedback from us, the Crescent Head people, by August 17. So, for instance, I'd like to see a ramp at the end of Willow Street for disabled people to go into the creek. I'd like to see the footpath out here a metre wider. You might like something over there. Barry might have a suggestion about over there. Everybody's now got to send more suggestions in, more detail. See, that master plan there lists the 11 priorities. It prioritises what we're worried about. What are we worried about? Protecting what we've got. Number one issue. Now, all the other things, anything else you want to see for Crescent Head, short-term, medium-term, long-term, this is going to be an ongoing thing. This isn't going to finish August 17 and that's it. It's going to be, well, if somebody pops up a suggestion to use that land next to the bowling green, Max Roach has got a fantastic plan for that land next to the bowling green. Outdoor mini golf and outdoor things for the kids, outdoor, beer garden for the club. It's a fantastic plan. It's so detailed. It's wonderful. That should be on your website. Now, if somebody else has got an idea,
thanks, Mark.
it's an ongoing, it's an evolving thing, is what I'm saying.
So the Crown land
Yes.
is administered by council.
Yes.
Max Roach has no say about Crown land. The council do. I'm asking a question.
Yes,
Will that land behind the club
yes.
go to the holiday park?
If we don't want it to, it won't.
Well,
If we want to put a
we had
mini
a
golf there, it
terrible-
will.
But we had a terribly disruptive meeting in March,
Yeah.
which is I was an idiot and got up and might remember. I don't think there's enough study and work done on all of that. It was like going off bang
Yeah,
before the gun was loaded.
correct.
Because I don't reckon anyone at that meeting knew that that was going to happen, that this master plan was going to happen, that that land would be taken back by the holiday park. They all assumed that that land was the club's land and they wanted to put up a block of flats in Tasmania there. And in fact, they were trying to block, they were trying to get in first before the council, not council, the councils who administer the land were going to take it back.
They weren't taking it back, they've always had it. The club would have had to request the use of that land for the retirement home. It was a suggestion to use that land. The council would therefore decide, yeah, it's a good idea to put 46 retirement homes there, or it's not a good idea. If someone else comes forward with a suggestion, the council will decide yes or no. There's no conspiracy, there's absolutely no
I'm not suggesting
plan.
conspiracy.
No, but I'm saying there's no plan for the caravan park at the moment to book caravans there or anything. Nothing at all. It's owned by the Crown, it's administered by the council.
So we could say it's sloppy put together this again if they had a line distinctly showing the caravan park on one side, the club on the other, and then in the master, two documents later, they put the line back, they put the line across it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think it comes off old zoning.
And that's fair enough. I guess if the people of President Head get to have another emotional moment with the club, then we get to get it. That's democracy.
That's the beautiful thing about this.
Yeah.
By us all emailing in our ideas, and by the council summing it up and then giving it back, and then we thrash it out. So if the majority want a disabled ramp at the bottom of Willow Street, we'll get a disabled ramp into the creek.
Okay. Changing the post. Did you, when you were growing up,
Yes.
I want to know more about that.
Hell,
Did you play any sport?
yes I did.
What did you play?
Well, I played football, cricket, all of it.
Rugby league or
I was a supreme athlete at one stage. Paul. Squash, tennis, surfing, the lot. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And then I got married.
Oh,
But other than that,
turn to another sport. But so, what, rugby league or rugby?
yeah, rugby league.
That's because what, was a Catholic
A
school?
good Catholic Christian Brothers Bondi.
Bondi.
Oh, you need a good Catholic education to learn self-discipline.
So did it affect the government? You shouldn't put money into it?
Well,
No, we'll leave that one alone.
Jesus.
All right. So you were brought up in Bondi?
Yeah,
Is that Malcolm Turnbull's electorate?
it is.
It is. So you were born up in an electorate like that, and you've got.
Yeah.
All right. I don't. That's just me. I don't see you much at the pub or the club or at sporting venues and things like that. Is that because you're busy or what? What do you think that is? Or is that just me? I don't.
Well, no, but once you've been married for 30 years, you learn to obey, Paul. You don't just get up and go out and have a beer like that. You have to actually request permission.
But no, couldn't you take your wife with you?
Well, with 3 children and all the rest of it, it's been busy, it's been hectic. Yeah.
So, so where do you get so your feeling for the community then, where would you get that from? I mean, how do you know what people, because I mean, let's just take a pub with you every Friday nights packed with tradies and they're all complaining about the roads or, the cost of fishing Madagascar or whatever. How do you connect with the community?
Oh, well, I mean, there was a period of time where I was down the club and down the tavern and talking to all. I know an enormous amount of people at present head. I know an enormous amount of people. I've been teaching for 20 years at Kempsey High School. When I first started teaching there, coming up from the eastern suburbs, like you said, and I'm sitting in the geography staff room there when I first took the job, and I couldn't believe it. I was listening to these teachers talking about, well, I thought I was in Alabama because the racism, I couldn't believe the racism. Where I grew up, it was like a wonderful cocktail of every nationality on earth. And come up here to run into this severe racism of the valley was quite a shock. Nobody put their hand up to coach the Opens football team because it was full of some fairly wild Indigenous characters. So I put my hand up, and it's been a wonderful journey ever since.
That's fantastic.
I can remember walking into the change room there, and they're all looking at me, you know, saying, "Who's this white mongrel from Sydney?" And Sean Cross, who was at Waverley College when I was teaching there, a Year 11 boy, had just been taken by the Roosters for a $100,000 contract. So I said to all these kookaburras who were about to run out and play Melville, I said, "There's probably a selector in the grandstand there. It'd be nice to see one of you blokes get a $100,000 contract with the Roosters." So they go out for the first time in 10 years, slaughtered Melville, and played hard and fast ever since.
Yeah. So that's a great...
But that's one thing that struck me since I've been here. There's a massive underclass in Kempsey, and the valley's been neglected, as you know, for 30 odd years because it was a safe seat. What staggered me was the population of the valley couldn't work out that voting 70% primary votes to one national party, making a safe seat, meant the state government did not have to spend any money in this valley.
What was the Labor government then?
Well, you know, they're not going to spend money on a safe seat.
No.
So until you get the seat marginal, so just like Port Macquarie got millions spent on it when Oakshott was there. What I'm saying to Melinda Pavey now is that this underclass and this poverty has to be addressed, and the whole all boats will rise if they start spending some money in the valley. And Melinda Pavey's happy to spend money, but she wants projects presented to her.
All right. Thank you. I just wanted to
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you still go to church or something?
No. I'm a good eclectic Buddhist, Christian, everything now.
Okay.
Yeah, good mix. A little bit of the best of everything. Yeah.
All right. I'm getting to the last page of the master.
Oh, okay.
Which is the cost.
The cost.
And which is really none of our business. How would we know what things cost, to be quite honest with you? Some things sort of go, oh, wow, that costs a lot, but you don't know the detail until you know the detail. I can't pass commentary on that.
No.
But the thing that I like to draw attention to people here is certainly the good job in that they've listed by priority, high priority, medium and low.
Yeah.
High and medium actually. They've given a time frame, which I think is good, because putting a time frame on things means that they're putting pressure on themselves to deliver it.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I think it's great. And as an example, fluctuating water quality in Killick Creek and estuary.
Yes.
It needs greater protection of water quality in Killick Creek. We all know that can get a bit funny.
Yeah.
Well, there's a delivery program on that. The time frame is from now to 2021, and that's not that far away given the size and magnitude of the thing. So that's a good thing. The poor public access to Muddy Arm, which is, I think, got to do with that end of Willow Street into there and across into that Muddy Arm Creek area.
Yeah.
Well, that's 2017 to 2021. The other ones have blown out a fair way, which is a bit of a disappointment, but given everything else that's on in the valley, I guess it's about the best you can do, which is rationalise the vehicle parking, investigate a new parking strategy, conflict between traffic and pedestrians. That is a time frame here of 2017 and 18 for a study and then a delivery program beyond 2021. But I'll just stick with the ones that are deliverable by 2021. Provide for appropriate scale development within Crescent Head, which is residential development controls. Protect and maintain beaches' character and scale of Crescent Head. Protect natural environment, heritage and landscape character of Crescent Head. Provide more affordable housing options in Crescent Head to increase permanent residential population. Poor public spaces in the village. We're hoping that should widen the footpaths and gardens and things like that. Imagine a veggie garden or a fruit garden. Anyway, street landscaping and new streets. Well, we've started that, haven't we?
Yeah. The poles. What you've got to understand with that, the difference between the delivery plan, it's a 4-year thing. It's $1 million. We're looking at $1 million allocated. To Crescent Head. It's a great.
I think it's great.
Great.
Yeah, I'm actually pissing in your pocket.
Then each year is an operating plan. And so for this year, for instance, the redevelopment of the park down there, the toilets, etc., and any streetscaping here is what they want to do this year. And then next year choose another couple of things to do. So it's over the 4 years to spend $1 million.
I think.
It's good.
I don't want it all to be negative, which I stuck in there for a while.
It's good.
I wanted to make sure that you did understand that
it's a great.
Sometimes you've got to ask the hard questions and be hitting around the head.
No, you're right.
So I wanted
think it's exciting.
I went, and so do I. And I think we've got a community that's involved, that want to get involved, and we'd rather have the money ourselves, of course, so that we could build the things ourselves. But
there's nothing wrong with getting community involved. That's exactly right.
Well, I think, I've certainly put a proposal to, I don't know who it is in council, that maybe we get a bit of a hand with these poles, because everybody's pocket's getting a bit short at the moment, but they might be able to
wonderful. Of course they should.
And also water quality. That's being addressed before the end of this year, isn't it? Fluoride.
$5 million brand new water treatment plant. Isn't it wonderful?
It is wonderful.
Get rid of a lot of the sediment that's out of the bore water. The issue of, don't bring up fluoride. The fluorides, I brought it up at the council meeting, and I was told quite straight that it's a state government issue. So if we as a village don't want fluoride, we'll have to direct our guns at the state government and request that. That's an optional extra if the village wants that. The council don't decide that, the state government do. But just getting on to water, I was also told that the sewage treatment plant has just been upgraded. So the 120 extra houses we're talking about at Kaluk, it is already catered for in the sewage system. And they've just spent money improving it just generally.
So it's a real go.
It is a go. And as for the water quality of the creek, when it rains and all the dog excreta and that gets washed into the creek, we've just got to get signs up down there that says don't swim in the creek after rain. It'll go away after a day, of course. But see, 20 years ago I was writing letters to the council saying, why don't we divert all the storm water out to some big pond out the back there somewhere and not let it all flow into the creek and lift the E. coli level. But as the brass in town will tell you and tell me, you either want to spend
60 million on
$1 million on this or $1 million on that. We've got to make our mind up. So,
Okay. Have you heard of a business called Salt and Wildflowers?
No.
Have you heard of a business called Studio 8?
No.
They're two businesses in Crescent Head currently. Done by young people. I don't know their age, so I'm not going to say. But they're very young people. They moved to town. Two of those people. Salt and Wildflowers is owned by Mel Timmins. Do you know Mel?
Yeah.
She owns a business called Salt and Wildflowers.
Oh, wow.
And Studio 8 is owned by Patrick Indo. Patrick's the one that's done the polls.
Beautiful. I love his work.
Mel did the one at Emma Baker Drive there.
Yeah.
There are two businesses in this town that, in my opinion, are little powerhouses, and they will be successful.
Good.
And we will encourage people like that in this town, Mark, because I'm sure you will too.
Oh, you bet I will.
And I hope that somewhere along the line you have the vision, and I'm sure you do, to seek these people out, get council to use them because they need the money.
Oh.
You've got young kids and things.
Oh.
I'm finished. I'm done. I've had the job, I'm a grandfather and all that sort of stuff. So I'm gone. But these kids have got a future ahead of them and we need them in a place like Crescent Hill. We don't need all the old farts that write their mouths out and point and, want yesterday, do yesterday, all that sort of stuff. We want people like that, and I hope you have the vision the same as I do.
I do. I agree with you.
Okay.
Well, the council have been pushing for the last 6 months or so, since the new councils had arrived. We've been pushing hard to get more monies, more of the council's expenditure spent on local contractors. Spend more within the valley, less outside of the valley.
It's a hard thing to do sometimes.
It is, but
cost,
I mean...
I believe, for example, I've been busting to go to the toilet out the point here, and I'm still holding it back. You know what I mean? It hasn't finished out there.
That's right.
And I believe that's because a local contractor didn't get the louvers for the windows.
Correct.
And they said, we can get them in Brisbane tomorrow for half the price. And no, they have to wait on this local contractor, which is holding up the completion of the toilets. And my bladder is backed up like you wouldn't believe.
Well, that's the price you'll pay. You're either going to support local industry and have you with bladder problems, or you're going to buy it from Brisbane.
Prostate.
Oh, well, yeah.
So, Mark, is there anything you would like to say in conclusion, less than, say 3 minutes?
I'm just really excited with this master plan, getting onto council and then this arriving as well. And I think, like you said, everyone at Crescent Head is passionate about Crescent Head. There's a deep love and respect for the place by all the people who live here. And I think this is great where we can participate in how we want the place to look. A town or a village can evolve like just spread randomly, or we can all get together and let's say, what do we want it to look like? Where do we want it to be?
Have a vision.
Have a vision and help make it happen. And this is the beautiful thing about this modern technology. I remember we made the crack at the start of it. 20 years ago, I was writing laborious letters to council.
Yeah.
Now you can email. Everybody can email their suggestions in. They're all tabulated. And then we get these wonderful reports. It's fantastic use of modern technology.
It is, and if you're prepared to, I'm prepared to in the future do more of these.
Yeah, thanks very much for this, Paul. You're very kind. You're very kind.
What I would like to do is another young girl we've got in town is Justin, who owns the Blackfish Complex.
Yes.
And who's made
Thank you, Justin.
available.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody here supports the local businesses, whether it be the Green Room, I'd have to say the opposite, Green Room or here, and our local commercial artists, our people can do web pages, all that sort of stuff. We've got all that talent in this town. So if you've got a business going or whatever, please make contact with these people or watch or go on Facebook with Watler. And Watler will be...
it's a great idea. It's a community web page. It's fantastic.
But to plug my own thing, thanks for having a yak with the Crescent Head yak.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks.
Anyone got any questions of Mark while we're here?
Yes.
How do you feel about getting stitched up in some of the conversation?